Next, we have Arthur's request, which is to do a review on a recent Pixar film called Turning Red. I never met nobody. If Luca was a movie about boys growing up, Turning Red is like that, but for girls. It was also more experimental in having an art style that is different from other Pixar films. And it was supposed to have a theatrical release before COVID relegated it to Disney+. At least until recently. Anyway, Turning Red was directed by Do-Mi Shi. She had pitched the idea for the movie as early as 2017, and was given the go-ahead by new creative officer Pete Docter. Her past experience as director was only from Bao, a short that played before The Incredibles 2, and she was working alongside consultant Brenda Hisui, who would eventually be the driving force behind the 2023 film Elemental. Juliet Cho helped with the screenplay in her first foray into film production, meaning that the creative leads for Turning Red are all women, which was a first for Pixar. The end result is something amazing. So with that, let us watch Turning Red.
The #1 rule in my family: honor your parents.
Yeah, but what if your parents are bad? Well, that's probably going to be brought up, I'm sure. But yeah, this is Mei Lin Lee, or just Mei, voiced by Rosalie Chang. She lives with her parents Ming and Jin, voiced by Sandra Oh and Orion Lee respectively, in the mystical land of Toronto, Canada. Mei at least acknowledges that you can't go overboard with this idea, especially if you forget about taking care of yourself.
Luckily, I don't have that problem. I'm Mei Lin Lee, and ever since I turned 13, I've been doing my own thing, making my own moves, 24/7, 365.
Oh, if only you knew. So right away, you can tell that she's a total tween with attitude and sass to spare. But unlike something like Totally Spies, where its characters are stereotypes, there's something more organic about how the cast is portrayed. Which isn't a surprise, since these characters were very much inspired by the creative team's own personal experiences. Like this Asian fever dream, as she puts it, and they sure put a lot into it. Of course, with how Turning Red was marketed, you have the usual complaints about how the movie is a betrayal to the dramatic tone and art style one expects from Pixar. Given that the film was also headed by an all-female creative team and its themes related more to the experiences of women, you also hear accusations that it was too woke, quote-unquote. I guess those critics forgot about what their childhoods felt like, or were dismissive of how childhood isn't a uniform experience because there is a point to be had in all this. For now, we see May's besties, like Miriam, voiced by Ava Morse, Priya, voiced by Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, sorry if I butchered it, who seems to be into this Twilight stand-in, and Abby, voiced by Hyun Park.
Yeah, what's up, May?
As you can see, Abby is a total mood. I love it. Otherwise, May is an overachiever who is misunderstood outside her friend group, yet she feels like she has to maintain that reputation and doesn't have time for anything else, like when her friends direct her towards some store clerk named Devin.
My mom cuts his hair at the salon, and I felt it. It's very soft.
Whoa, can I have some?
Yeah, Abby, hook his sister up.
I mean, in fairness, we've all had crushes, fictional or otherwise, because we didn't know any better and it was all part of growing up. Also, no matter who you were, all of us were into boy bands, like...
Jesse went to art school. Hey, young Foster's injured doves.
Just because these girls had different upbringings from you or me, audience can still relate to them. This is something many teens or tweens felt, and it's just fun seeing how the movie conveys these feelings of growing up. And that's where Pixar can really excel, especially when mixing their 3D animation with some 2D effects. If Luca was like watching an Aardman creation, then Turning Red is like watching a 3D anime, which is no surprise since this movie is practically inspired by Ranma, Inuyasha, and even some video games. This is something I can get behind. Anyway, the girls want May to join them for karaoke, but she has to pass because she has to work at the temple with her mom. Obviously, there's too much on her plate, but she seems unwilling to ask for a little time for herself because of this need to act more adult-like. And it doesn't help that Ming seems to be a helicopter mom.
You're 10 minutes late. What happened? Are you hurt? Are you hungry?
How was school?
Oh hey, it's that dark undertone that Pixar movies are known for. The early stuff might be cutesy fun, but the drama and character relations are as real as life itself. We then get some lore behind the temple. It's meant to honor an ancestor named Sun Yi, who was the guardian of the red panda, which is the main animal for this temple. In a sense, the family isn't worshipping a god per se, just their ancestors, which I can dig. I also like how Ming is at least somewhat on the level with Mei with what goes on into cleaning the place. But again, that's just a cover for a really tense relationship between mother and daughter. At least Jin seems like a cool dad who can really cook. Do the Salt Bae, do the Salt Bae, yes! He did it! We learned that 4Town is having a show in Toronto. Mei wants to go, but doesn't tell her mom about her interest. Something else she hides is her interest in Devon, who she draws a picture of while doing homework. There's the meme! But Ming barges in and sees the drawings. She takes this all well.
You! Oh, what have you done to my Mei?
Who?
Maylin Lee, right here.
I should report you to the police.
May I remind you that you were once a teenager yourself? This leaves Mei upset and confused over why she had to let this happen. She vows to not let this blow up happen again, but as she sleeps, we see something happening to her, as if something is being unleashed. And who said this movie was nothing but cringe? Mei wakes up and notices that she got a lot hairier, because she has become a giant red panda.
Wake up, wake up, wake up!
Is everything okay?
Don't come in here!
Did the red peony bloom?
No! Maybe?
Now, even if it isn't explicit, we all know that this transformation is a metaphor. Still, this scene alone got people complaining about how it dares to bring up the icky subjects, like the sexual awakenings and bodily changes that come from girls entering puberty. Personally, it's great that a work is trying to acknowledge the reality of such a common experience for girls, rather than mystifying the process and leaving kids to possibly suffer from having to figure this stuff out for themselves. Anyway, Mei learns that being calm can help her suppress her red panda form. It's not foolproof though, since her hair is bright red, so she has to wear a beanie to compensate. She then catches up with her friends who tell her about yesterday.
Tyler keeps putting these up. Knock it off, butthead. That's funny, Tyler! Devin, my precious manly man.
Oh yeah, I should mention Tyler. He's a little jerk who picks on Mei and her friends. Right now he's putting up copies of Mei's drawing of Devon, and this makes her lose control of her temper and her red panda form. Not helping matters is seeing Ming trying to get into school to see her daughter, which is also pretty embarrassing. So Mei snaps and... Ming seems to know something given how she goes after Mei and calls for Jin. But otherwise, Mei does her best to get home before her mom does, and it doesn't go well. Something something 9/11. That's the joke! Speaking of, there was another reviewer who complained that this movie wasn't accurate because no one was talking about recent political events in the US, like 9/11, despite this movie taking place in Canada. Yeah, just because 9/11 was a big deal in the States doesn't mean it's the same elsewhere. Anyway, Mei cries that she's a monster, but her parents comfort her and explain what's going on. This transformation began with the ancestor Sun Yi, who asked the gods to turn her into a red panda as a way to protect her family during wartime. This power was passed on to her descendants once they came of age. And while it had its uses then, it's now more of an inconvenience.
You serious?
Mei, no!
It's a curse!
She meant it as a blessing!
It's all your fault!
Hey, do you know how many people would love to have this gift? I want to turn into a literal furry at the drop of a hat. Ming also tells her daughter that she also had to go through becoming a red panda, and that a way to manage the transformation is a ritual on the next red moon. It can seal the animal form inside like a talisman, but any heavy emotions at that time can ruin the process. So until that day, May has to remove everything from her room that can cause those strong feelings. In practice, that means everything but the bed. Naturally, she's not happy about this. Her friends come by the next day to inform her about the upcoming Four Town concert. They notice her new form, but get over it rather quickly.
Are you a werewolf?
No, what?
He's a red panda!
Sick.
You're so fluffy! You're so fluffy!
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die.
Poor May can't even be excited for the concert because of her red panda form, though her friends try cheering her up with one of their favorite band songs. This act allows May to turn back, because it's love for her friends that allows her control, and the girls decide to try and get her into the concert. They need the permission of their parents, and May tries to prove that she has her new form under control. Ming at least lets her daughter out of the room after extensive testing.
So cute.
We love you, girl.
We love you, girl.
Love you, girl. Panda or no panda.
But she can't go to the concert because that might make her lose control. Ming then wonders why her daughter wants to go to the concert, and this is how May thinks. I mean, that's pretty reasonable. But a concert ticket costs $200, so that's another reason why she can't go. Then Ming realizes how much more of an attitude her daughter has, until Jin tells her to talk to her mother on the phone, Granny Wu, voiced by Wai Ching Ho. She's been watching the news on what happened with May, and
I'm on my way. With reinforcements.
No, I can handle it. I can...
now we know why Ming is such a control freak. She got it from her mother, and May recognizes this.
Little mama's girl.
Oh, shut up, you Alberto knockoff. May, kick his ass. May complains some more that no matter how much she gave to her mother, she isn't allowed to live her own life. She now wants to go to that concert at all costs, so she and her friends need to come up with a plan to help her get out of the house. They start with a sleepover night, which will be the cover, but they still need the money. May goes into her red panda form in the middle of brainstorming, and then once some other girls show up and see this happens.
You are the cutest thing ever. Come out, please. Wait, so you like the panda?
Like it? I love it. I'll give you anything. Money, my kidney.
Whoa, whoa. I mean, I would hug too, but that's a bit excessive. So the plan is to flaunt the red panda look in front of other kids without Ming noticing. To raise the $800, the girls also resort to panda pics and merchandise, which is so good that even Tyler is interested and is shooed away. All that remains is the last $100. Tyler approaches the girls with a blackmail attempt. He'll tell their parents what they're up to unless they meet his demands, which is...
I want to throw a sick birthday party. An epic one.
It'll cost you $200.
Okay? Are you serious? You can't trust him. It's a trap.
Look, he's a jerk, but even he has standards. With the deal sealed, it's just a matter of ditching the parents. Not helping matters is Ming having the jitters, and she wants her daughter to join her for a special dinner. May tries to get out of that by saying she's studying with Miriam, which Ming responds to by saying she wants to tag along. Her daughter is having none of this.
But I don't want you to.
And then they show up.
Gain weight.
She looks like her mother.
She looks like her father.
Ladies.
Fashionable? Hell yes. I'm just worried about what they'll do later. So most of the girls are stuck at Tyler's party, while May has to deal with extended family. They allude to Ming having poor control over her red panda form, which leaves me wondering what the hell is wrong with this family. Wu actually notes how unleashing the panda form is actually not all that bad. It's just that it becomes harder to undo the form change the more often you do it.
You are your mother's whole world, Mei. I know you'll do what's right.
Mei finally makes it to Tyler's party with her makeshift costume from the temple. Feeling unable to commit to this, she tells her friends to go to the concert without her, but they don't listen. They either all stay or all go. And so...
Hey, Tyler! You want the panda? You're getting the panda! Let's hear it for the
Aw, Priya's fallen for the goth girl, and her friends dig it. Such a fun scene. I see nothing bad happening next. Back over the Ming, Wu tells her to keep a closer eye on Mei, leading to the discovery of some red panda merchandise. The girls take a break from the party and can't wait for the concert tomorrow, and think about what would happen to Mei if she doesn't do the ritual.
All her hopes and dreams are pinned on me.
I know, but you've really changed, and I'm proud of you. Just don't get rid of all of it, you know?
That's a pretty good takeaway. Change can be a good thing, and while it's hard to let go of some parts of ourselves, it's just a matter of keeping the best bits of who we were. But there's just one teeny tiny problem. The concert is actually next week, on the day of the ritual. Abby got the dates wrong. Now that's a mood. As Mei starts to panic, Tyler comes back to ask more from her. He goes a step too far when he insults her family, which causes her to lose control and attack him. Ming comes in to see what she did. Tyler's parents also yell at Ming for what her daughter did, and yeah, it's pretty bad. Ming then blames Mei's friends for being bad influences on her daughter, and Mei doesn't fight those charges and just goes along with it. She ends up going with her mom while abandoning her friends. Well, at least they can go to the concert while Mei has to attend the ritual.
I think it's coming from the Sky Dome, Mother.
4 is the worst number.
Hey, you and Mista have something in common. Mei is still sad about this, but it's time for her to banish her red panda form and embrace her true self. At least, that's what Wu says. Jin talks to Mei about how she's really feeling, and she says that her red panda form is bad, but only because her mother said so. This is when Jin lets her daughter in on a little secret about Ming.
It was quite destructive. And big. She almost took out half the temple. She and your grandma had a terrible fight.
Over what?
So Ming was similar to Mei. She wanted something for herself, but her mother wouldn't allow it. And while she got her man in the end, I guess she was always wary of her red panda side. Not that Jin is worried himself. He accepts that people have many sides to them, and they just can't exclude or ignore the parts of themselves that they don't like.
The point isn't to push the bad stuff away, it's to make room for it. Live with it.
So the red panda form? Not as bad as Ming made it out to be, given the footage she saw. We get some extra detail about how the ritual works. Everyone sings to guide Mei through the spiritual forest where she can meet Sun Yi. The idea is to separate the panda and human sides while Mei's actual body is floating in the air. Truly some Exorcist level stuff. Throughout all this, Mei looks back on the good and bad that comes from being a red panda. This is what convinces her to reunite with that side of herself, thus botching the ritual. Not that she cares all that much. The other women try stopping her, but Mei breaks free because she wants to go to that concert. Doing this causes a crack in Ming's necklace, and as the family keeps bickering, it breaks completely. Mei finally makes it to the concert and apologizes to her friends for all she did. Miriam is especially upset, but she held on to Mei's Tamagotchi toy she dropped earlier. Eventually, she and the other girls reconcile.
Four Town forever.
Four Town
Four
forever.
Town forever! Are a four townie? No way!
Again, everyone is into one boy band or another. Now they have something in common.
Your mom must have gone nuclear.
Who cares? What's she gonna do? Ground me?
Oh, I have a feeling there's a kaiju battle coming. The concert starts off strong, and it's as awesome as the girls make it out to be. And then Mom shows up.
Where are
she's just lost it. And of course, everyone's snapping pictures as they run, because going viral is way more important than self-preservation. The rest of the family shows up, and Jin tells Mei that they need to save her mother by doing the ritual again. Ming catches Mei, then just goes to town with the place, and acting like the worst possible version of herself.
Everyone, go home! Where are your parents?
You can't tell me what to do, you're not my mom.
Put some clothes on!
Yes, Panda Mom, whatever you say. Mei fights back, coming to peace with her red panda form and admitting that going to the concert was her idea. She also lists the things that made her who she is, which buys time for everyone else to complete the ritual circle.
How can you be so crass?
You want to see crass?
What are you doing? Stop moving like that!
That's one way of showing her up. The family starts singing, but it isn't powerful enough to empower the circle. As the two red pandas fight, we see that Ming resents her daughter for doing a lot of the stuff she wanted to do at her age, and Mei telling her mother that she will never be the perfect daughter. Cool stuff, and she even knocks Ming out with a headbutt, which knocks her out of the ritual circle while the red moon is starting to fade. So, it's up to Wu and the aunts to help Mei pull her back in, and there's only one way to do it. The singing isn't enough to complete the ritual, so Miriam and crew convince Four Town to help by singing their own song. It works, and we finally have the mother and daughter moment we were hoping for. Ming's younger self is crying because she feels at fault for what happened to her own mother.
I'm just so sick of being perfect. I'm never gonna be good enough for her. Or anyone.
I know it feels that way, like all the time. But it isn't true.
They know how to get me. They finally reach Sun Yi, where the others are waiting, including Wu, who also apologizes to Ming for her own past behavior. Everyone seals their panda forms, except for Mei.
I'm changing, Mom. I'm finally figuring out who I am.
You try to make everyone happy, but are so hard on yourself. And if I taught you that, I'm sorry. So don't hold back. For anyone.
And with that, Sun Yi takes Mei into the sky to see the red moon off. Time passes, and things are better with everyone. Ming's panda is now in Mei's Tamagotchi, while the others...
You should see Grandma's.
So unlucky.
They're actually raising funds to rebuild the Sky Dome, which will take a while. Tyler is now part of the friend group, and Mei is now more open and hanging out with them, while totally embracing her furry side. And Ming, she's having a go at being truer to herself.
Sometimes I miss how things were, but nothing stays the same forever. We've all got an inner beast. We've all got a messy, loud, weird part of ourselves hidden away. And a lot of us never let it out. But I did. How about you?
God, that was incredible. Definitely one of Pixar's best films, and I'm glad it's getting another chance to be in theaters. The movie might start off weird and awkward, but that's part of the overall message. We all have a messy side that can lead to someone getting hurt, but it's still a part of us and better to make room for it as opposed to denying its existence. Everyone changes and it can be scary, but we also end up learning more about ourselves and who we want to be because of that. This movie does well to reflect the state of Mei with the animation. They fluff up the teenage fever dream of a little girl with many effects and expressions that it's funny, and when she gets sad they play it out accordingly with mood lighting and such. It's done really well, and you get the emotion of the scene without much effort. Some might be disappointed with them doing what Encanto did by having the questionably abusive parental figures make up with the people they hurt and kind of being let off easy. It's a tad unrealistic to expect this sort of happy ending for all families who go through similar situations to those in the movie, but that doesn't detract from the movie's story at all. This is ultimately about a little girl learning more about herself as she grows up and sees the other sides of her, and that resonates to people of all ages, regardless of who or what you are. Check this movie out. however you can. Next up, we got another Swan Princess movie to do. I'll see you then.
You never know on my mind, oh my, oh my.